thank you because you have changed the narrative. What you have done is not out of contest. It's not out of the law. Impeaching somebody who is corrupt, who has used the local funds for personal gain, sending him away is not wrong. I recognize you as my chairman. So I am ready to work with you people. I am ready to see that you progress and local government progress.
The spokespersons for the chairman across the 3 districts reiterated their loyalty to the new administration.
You are the only governor whom I've seen who wants the people at the grassroots not to suffer.
So the agenda being pushed is that every month, 800 million naira was given to these local government areas. And they can't account for it. 800 million naira. According to him, he said 800 million naira for environmental sanitation. I'm like, oh, those states must be so rich. For your local government areas to have access to 800 million naira, you know, for environmental sanitation. And because they can't account for it, that's why they have been removed. And that's it. Normally, you see, impeachment is a very long process, okay? So the first thing you have to do is you will write out the summon, or you write out the list of the reasons why you want to impeach someone. And then you will give them the chance to defend themselves, okay? So in their defense, if you are not satisfied, if the councillors are not satisfied, then they will now move a motion for impeachment. Or in this case, that's not how it happened. But we all shall know why this whole thing is playing out, okay? They need to get rid of these guys so that their own loyalists can take over the council, take over the local government areas. You understand? So, or else it will be difficult for them to control the supposed grassroots where the real politics is. And they have a lot of their supporters who put in a lot, you know, the violence and the rest of that over the time that Obaseki chased all of them away. So they have been in the trenches for so long. They needed to be compensated ASAP. It's only the people that will actually suffer it. Here is one of the kicked out chairmen, I think. He had this to say.
Well, concerning the impeachment you talked about, I just told you now that I was somewhere, and as we speak, the councillors are on recess to resume work on the 20th of this month. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing that councillors go on recess and then resume at a particular time. So as we speak, they are on recess. The question of whether it passed through due process does not go arise. Councillors who were not on grant, who traveled out of the local government for recess, how can they go and carry out that kind of purported impeachment? And like I told you, I have 2 videos which I forwarded earlier. One for the purported impeachment. The characters there were not even councillors. Those who even claim to be majority leader, the other one the speaker, and the third person are not even elected councillor, whether from my local government or from another local government. There are characters that were imported elsewhere to come and perpetrate such illegality. While that one was going on, we were informed, and the councillors where they were, they put themselves together, you know, and then they did a video. I have 2 videos in my possession, one for that purported illegal impeachment, and then the other one where the councillors did, all the 12 councillors that I have in my local government, they did video, you know, countering that the illegality that was perpetrated that yesterday. Concerning the 12 billion, you just asked me, I don't think, I won't be able to answer that question. I don't know where 12 billion will come from. 12 billion from where? From the council purse, or from where? How did the 12 billion? I'm sure you know what 12 billion means. Not even 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion.
No, he said it was 18 of you that did it. So you shared it. So he said it was 18 of you that did it. So that you shared it in your, okay, you can only speak for yourself. Did you remit any funds to the leaders of the PDP?
Yeah, if I participate in the sharing of 12 billion as a council chairman, I don't think I'll be where I am now. If I participate in the sharing of 12 billion as a council chairman,
okay,
I will never be where I am as I speak to you.
Marvelous.
So let me speak for myself. That the fact that I don't know anything about it, it does not mean I should now speak generally. No, I am not the AGO chairman, neither am I even the vice chairman or whatever. Even if I'm the AGO chairman,
Okay.
AGO chairman,
All right,
AGO chairman, you speak to yourself. You can't speak on behalf of my council.
No problem.
As far as my council is concerned.
So it's not even 800 million. It's actually 12 billion. That is what Okwedodoyo or Okweobolo, the Dodoyo governor of Edo, accused them of spending. He said they gave the money, 12 billion naira, right? They gave the money to a PDP leader in Edo State. The local governments don't even have access to such money. But they shall have to push something anyway. So yeah, that is why they all got impeached same day. 18 local government chairmen and their vice. It is the APC, a Bekebe's kind of democracy. And if you are not okay with that, then go to court. That's their modus operandi. Go to court. Yesterday, Peter Obi and the Obidients were reacting to the threats that came from APC, Egbekebe's spokesperson, Felix Morka. Felix Morka, who was visibly angry, said Peter Obi for criticizing Tifnumbu and calling on Tifnumbu, right, to actually stay in Nigeria, visit the state, meet the people he is governing, and feel their pulse on the economic hardship he has unleashed on them. Said Peter Obi had passed or crossed the line, that he has crossed the line many times. A direct threat to Obi that the Obidients were not taken lightly. Well, today, Felix Morka returned back to their rise. This time around, presented himself as a victim. He said he has received threats from the Obidients. He said in the last 48 hours, he has received over 400 threats to his life from the Obidients. He denied threatening Obi that whatever comes the way, or Obi should expect whatever is coming for him, because he has crossed the lines many times. You see, one thing about APC, Egbekebe, as I have pointed out many times, is that when you try to call them out, they don't really address the point you are raising. They will come for you. They will attack your personality, because their own is to try and say, oh, look at this person criticizing us, saying that we have failed. Meanwhile, is this, is that, near you, mudsling and all of that stuff, to destroy your character, so that everyone who is, and that is practically the modus operandi of the Ronukus as well. If you ask them to answer questions on their failed policies, they will attack you, attack your personality, and begin to deflect the conversation to the irrelevant, to nonsense, until they watered it down, and they will still never, ever answer the direct questions that you are posing to them. So Morka came back and denied threatening Obi. He said, no, I didn't threaten him. I only reacted. I didn't. So he denied. Then he turned around to make himself a victim. He said he is now calling on the security agents to protect him, because the Obidients have started digging out information about himself. They are beginning to dox him, which means they are now sharing information about his family. If anything happens to Peter Obi, himself, Felix Morka, and his own family, they too are not safe. Something that, Reuben Apati took a chance to call the Obidients headless mob. They call them mob. I'll come back to that one. So the first part, this is the most interesting part, by the way. the way the anchors presented the question to him when he ran back to them to try to raise alarm that his own life is in danger for threatening Peter Obi.
And that's my point.
Right. So you said that you're challenging facts or the misrepresentation of facts.
Correct.
Is in essence, that's your duty. However...
Oh, hang on. I think we should hear the first part where he denies. Then we'll come back to that particular one where he started to double down.
I, Felix Morka, did not threaten Peter Obi. Nothing I said in that interview begins to even suggest remotely that, Peter Obi, I was asking anything other than saying to the man who was asking me a question, he said, you guys are calling him prophet of doom or, voodoo economist. And I said, well, you know what, if that is what it's called, he has, he deserves it because he's crossed the line of truth. Now, I don't know by what medium or by what, effort do you then transmogrify that conversation into a threat to Obi's life and the life of his family or those around him. That is libel in the extreme.
I know Mr. Obi likes to quote figures from Bangladesh, from India, from China, but that's not what we're talking about. Let's move to the second leg of it. Has anybody threatened you? Because your own party is saying you have been threatened. And who are those people who have threatened you? How?
Actually,
because you two you are alleging.
Absolutely.
You should also prove.
As it turns out, Peter Obi's allegation that the words I spoke in that interview threatened his life. Now, immediately, as I speak, I have documented no less than 400 threats, about over 200 of which are death threats. Documented. I'm not talking about people these are written texts that I have carefully documented and which, I'm providing to the law enforcement agencies, or people really telling me graphically describing how they intend to take me out, to shoot me, behead me in graphic language. You see, this is not a joke. And it's gone further to some members of my family who have also been, threatened directly. I'm not speaking about just, suggesting in graphic, language. You see, but, I'm not concerned about that because, what has triggered this entire insanity cannot be attributed to me. I did not threaten Peter Obi. And so anybody who is threatening me, that is their decision to do so. But, I hope that our law enforcement system will respond as effectively as possible to also, bring nuisance.
So do you see how he started making himself a victim? It is an APC, a Bekegbe thing. They will accuse you of what they are doing. Yeah. And they will run to the market to amplify same. Did you hear a party there? That Obi likes to quote figures from Bangladesh, from India. Oh, you will hear more from what he had to say too. Well, here is where they pressed Morka. That it is you guys' modus operandi. Anybody who speaks out, like the whole country is feeling the heat. They are feeling your, what do you call it? They are feeling your misgovernance. You have destroyed Nigeria. Starting from Bokwari to Tifnumbu, you've destroyed this contraption beyond any repair. Or whoever speaks up or asks questions, you will leave all they are asking, all they are saying. You begin to attack them, attack their personalities. You begin to threaten them. Because to you, anyone who criticizes Tifnumbu is inciting the people against you. Like the job of the opposition is to oppose you. Their job is to expose your failures. How can you then turn around and begin to attack them in such a way that you are threatening them, warning them? Here is that part.
And that's my point.
Right. So you said that you're challenging facts or the misrepresentation of facts.
Correct.
Is in essence, that's your duty. However, what we saw was an attack on a person, not an attack on facts. And this is the issue. So for you to exonerate yourself and say, I didn't start this, when Peter Obi's New Year's address very clearly addressed the issues, but yes, you say you were responding to a question. However, you're trained in this field, and you could have turned your response into an address of the facts. My question to you is, why are we seeing this culture of toxic rhetoric from the spokespeople of this administration, not just from yourself, there's several of you who, who speak on behalf of this administration. Last time it was Olusegun Obasanjo who was told that, he's not even a worthy statesman to make this kind of statement on another issue. Another opportunity, it's Atiku Abubakar. Who is he to say all of this? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is there a culture of attacking the messenger as opposed to just dealing with the data?
No, I think you're getting this slightly wrong, if I must say. Now, if you read my statement, the Buhari administration came on top of nearly 2 decades of governance by the then ruling party.
It's 2 decades as well now.
Two decades.
1 decade now, going to 1 decade of administration.
Yeah. So the Buhari administration was a corrective government. And correct it did, as it did.
By plunging Nigerians into poverty?
No. Now, are you suggesting that Nigeria had no poverty? There was no poverty in this country?
You said more people
before,
got...
No.
No, because we have to deal with facts here. No, we have to deal with facts here, Mr. Morka. The facts are out there.
No, hang on.
More Nigerians were plunged into poverty under the APC administration.
Okay, can I ask you a simple question? Do you have the data of the Nigerians who lived in multidimensional poverty as of 2015?
Under the Jonathan administration, how many people? Less than 70%. Under the Buhari...
70%?
Yes, less.
That's 70% of Nigerian population?
Yes. Under the Buhari administration, it was over 70%, and at some point, Nigeria was actually ranking high as the poverty capital of the world. So I think that's just fact out there. I'm just saying that in terms of what you said.
But you see what you say. If you take the 10-year parameter you just mentioned,
yes.
So take it that in 10 years of the 10 years of the PB administration before 2015,
yes,
that Nigeria did not move anywhere. Because if, as of 2015, no. You see, you think about what I'm saying, please.
Okay.
Think about what I'm saying. If we, let's say, for the sake of this conversation, we're not economists, right? So let's say that 10 years is that period where we say whatever, the gestation period for transformation of that, data takes 10 years. It means that if 70% of Nigerians were living in multi-dimensional poverty as of 2015, it means that 10 years prior...
Yes, it was your administration that plunged more Nigerians into poverty.
Yeah, let's say 69%. Living in multi-dimensional poverty as of 2015. What I'm saying is that nearly 20 years of the PDP did not radically, that's 2 frames of data era, did not radically help this country reduce poverty. Now, the next 10 years that you're referring to, that people like to refer to, of the Buhari administration, now, and that's...
They don't like data. They don't like anything factual. They love to pull data from the thin air. And if you take them up on it, right, it's just that this Morka guy is pretty much like a thug, a miscreant that got the position of Layamo after Layamo was promoted to become a information or misinformation minister. So it was these questions and then, probing and their efforts in trying to use propaganda to cover up facts that triggered this madman in threatening Obi, and almost everyone just spoke out. If you say anything and you try to present to them the real data, and here is something, it wasn't even like less than 70%. From the record, it was less than 40% Nigerians that were living in multi-dimensional poverty as at 2015. The number was 54 million. Yeah, give or take, 54 million. By the time that Bokwari was done in 2023, over 80 million Nigerians were living in abject multi-dimensional poverty. And the evidence was there. Between 2023 and the end of 2024, Today, more than 80% Nigerians have been delved deeper into abject poverty. Inflation is at its worst as we speak. Food inflation, normal inflation, the whole thing is like at the worst stage as we speak. Never before. Because yeah, the numbers don't lie. Take a look at this. Before these rogues, the Nigerian foreign debt was put at $13.5 billion. The Nigerian exchange rate before these criminals was 149 naira to a dollar. The Nigerian refineries were actually working at over 55%. The same refinery that died under Bukwari, the one they spent over 4 trillion naira reviving. And today, they told you that their refinery is working, but the refinery doesn't produce PMS. The refinery doesn't refine PMS. It is only diesel and kerosene, while they will spend more in importing PMS to Nigeria. Using propaganda to cover all this up. But today, before these guys, inflation in Nigeria was a single figure. Inflation in Nigeria was somewhere around 7% in 2015. Fast forward to 2025, inflation in Nigeria today is 36%. Food inflation is over 50%. Now, this is just the conservative, conservative figure, where you can say averagely. They have destroyed that contraption, but they still feel like did you hear him? He said Bukwari's regime was a corrective one. Today, Nigeria's foreign debt is over $140 billion from 13.5 billion. Ask them, where is the money? What did they use the money for? The loan? Where is the money? What did they use it for? They will attack you. They will tell you that you are blind. Can't you see? Nigeria was generating over 9,000 megawatts of electricity before these criminals. Today, Nigeria is barely struggling to generate 5,000 megawatt electricity. So where is the money? So when you try to take them up on it, they become triggered. They become raging. They will tell you that there are poor people all over the world. Nigeria is not the only place where people are poor. Nigerians were never rich. We've always been poor. Blah, 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 blah. And they are like, when you are living in your own echo chamber, it is more or less like if you can't feel that the Nigeria is progressing, it is because you don't like them. All right? It's because you don't like us. Here is another part of that conversation where apathy, as usual, couldn't hide his own stupidity.
You said Mr. Peter Obi is sponsoring a mob of reckless people who are defaming people, attacking people, bullying people, threatening people on social media and everywhere. A headless mob of bullies. Are you referring to the Obidients? And I would like you to comment further on that characterization of this mob that you say Peter Obi is sponsoring, and how that mob poses a threat to the administration and to society.
Yes, I have been threatened by those who, even in the messages, profess loyalty to Peter Obi, who has said to me directly that, this, what you've said, we believe constitutes a threat to Peter Obi's life. Even when I put out information initially, before my statement yesterday, on the APC handle, providing the verbatim translation or transcription of what I said, I put that out and with a clip, relevant clip, so that you can listen and read. That has not persuaded them to get, an enlightened perspective of that conversation. Now, yes, these are people who profess loyalty to Peter Obi. Now, if I have followers who go around threatening, Felix, Morka, or anyone else for that matter, I would, call them to order and say, look, hey, this is not necessary. I will, speak even when I feel like this individual has said something I don't appreciate. I would still say to them, do not do this. But, so far, Peter Obi was quick to, claim that my words threatened his life and that of his family falsely, according to me. However, up until now, even though I have said publicly that these followers of his